to meet their families when an ease of restrictions is announced in due course. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the flexibility was among matters being considered for those who have been fully vaccinated. He said he felt concerned and has taken note of netizens' laments over the interstate travel restrictions that has taken a toll on relationships of couples and parents who have been separated from their children. According to Ismail Sabri, he has often brought up this issue in the National Security Council meetings, and the government is studying the proposal to allow couples and long-distance families to be reunited, more so if the parents have already received 2 doses of the vaccine. He added that as a father, he is aware of how important the family institution is and how it affects our lives in society. Even if it is a safety measure, parents should not be separated from their children for too long, said Ismail Sabri in an update on his Facebook page today. Former Minister of Youth and Sports Syed Abdul Rahman was charged with 2 counts of criminal breach of trust involving more than 1.1 million ringgit in the Sessions Court today. He claimed trial for both charges. According to charges read out at the Sessions Court in Kuala Lumpur today, Syed Saddiq, who was then chief of Bersatu's Youth Wing Armada, allegedly withdrew party funds amounting to 1 million ringgit in the form of a cheque without the approval of the party's Central Committee in March last year. He was also charged with misusing 120,000 ringgit of donations for the 14th General Elections campaign. If found guilty, he could face up to 10 years imprisonment, caning and also a fine. Bail was set at 330,000 ringgit with one surety for both charges. He paid part of the bail amounting to 80,000 ringgit and was ordered by the court to pay the remaining bail by next Tuesday. Speaking to reporters, he said that several other MPs are also being targeted by the authorities, with corruption investigation launched against them. He advised the MPs to maintain their dignity and not bow down to threats, adding that they should not easily switch sides when threatened with legal action. Charged with misappropriating funds, Syed Saddiq countered with allegations the charges are politically motivated. Tonight on Consider This, we ask our guests for their perspective on this matter. Phase 2 of the Construction Industry Vaccination Program, CVAX, will kick off on August 5th. Works Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof said that some 30,000 slots are allocated for workers in Penang and 25,000 in Johor. Right now, he said all slots in Johor were fully booked, while the registration in Penang is still ongoing as only 22,800 slots were booked so far. The vaccination process will be carried out from August 5th until September 15th. Meanwhile, he expects registration for CVAC to be opened in Pahang from July 25th and Sabah from July 31st, with 20,000 allocation each. Commenting on Phase 1 of CVAC in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, Fadilah said as of July 20th, over 60% of 40,000 local and foreign construction workers registered had received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine. The ministry, he adds, is in the midst of applying for more vaccine supply to meet the demand of 300,000 construction workers, including for another 65,000 workers in Kuala Lumpur and 30,000 in Selangor. In other news, the police have received over 38 reports of COVID-19 vaccine sales scams involving losses estimated at 55,500 ringgit. Bukit Aman Commercial Crime Investigation Department Director Datuk Muhammad Kamaruddin Mohamed Din said among the reports lodged was also on the issue of the number of vaccine recipients that exceeded the number of vaccine doses supplied at a vaccination centre. Muhammad Kamaruddin said the police also detected a new modus operandi used by a vaccine sales scam syndicate. He said that victims of such cases would be contacted by syndicate members posing as health ministry officials, informing them that they had been involved in the sale of vaccines through Facebook. He urged the public to contact CCID Scam Response Centre should they have any doubts or information regarding the scam activities. We'll take a short break. Stay with us.
Kita berhadapan dengan situasi pandemik yang agak luar biasa. Self-control, self-lockdown itu penting. Lebih kurang pergerakan, maka lebih sukar untuk COVID menjangkit kita.
Untuk tempoh 2 minggu ni duduk di rumah. Kalau kita boleh laksanakan KKP Kendiri dan keluarga,
saya kira insya-Allah kita boleh berjaya. Akhirnya kita menang.
Untuk memastikan Malaysia ada ke depan kita boleh maju. Induknya adalah Melayu.
Balik kepada bukan orang yang membuat polisi.
Kalau itu yang dikehendaki, fine. Mungkin kita berbeza pandangan.
Tapi kita mempunyai kuasa yang boleh menentukan budaya di masa hadapan.
Polisi yang mesra wanita, sudah tentu dia akan datang daripada pemimpin wanita.
Welcome back. An ongoing military coup in Myanmar that started in February has led to the loss of hundreds of lives as the country remains in disarray. Besides civilian and anti-coup protesters, the Muslim community also have suffered the brunt of the coup as the group is targeted with hate speech, while places of worship have been reportedly burned down. Chia Win from the Burma Human Rights Network highlights the atrocities happening in the country amid a surge in COVID-19 cases.
You see that every time uprising happen, the military use brutality and cruelly and brutal crackdown on the population, the people who stand up against the military. And after a few times, when the situation is calm, they divert the attention towards the Muslims, because people have anger against the military, so they divert that anger towards the Muslims. That's how every time, it's not the first time or second time, many times it happens. They try to divert the attention towards the Muslim, to hate the Muslim, to attack the Muslims and to target the religious premises. That's what they do normally. So they are trying to associating the current uprising with the extremisms. So they're trying to use the terms Taliban, Al-Qaeda, that kind of terminology, associating with the NUG government. So which is totally, illogic and totally false.
Chia Win said the pandemic has also exacerbated the situation greatly.
Now we are facing the COVID outbreak in Burma. Thousands of people are dying every day. There isn't any oxygen. There isn't any quarantine center properly established. Everything, all the infrastructure has been destroyed by the coup from the February, because previous government did so many things to help the people. Now currently the military has destroyed everything and they're arresting the doctors. They're killing the doctors. So nobody dare to turn up to the hospitals. Hospital has no resources anymore to save the lives. So peoples are dying without necessary. These lives can be saved. So this is all about the brutality and cruelty the military is practicing to maintain their power.
Despite the pandemic, Chia Win stressed the importance of media to continue highlighting the injustices happening in Myanmar and for the world to not forget them.
I think it's very important that nowadays social media and international media is very important role to play. We need to inform the people what's going on in Burma, not to forget, because the world has a lot of things happening in the world today. Burma issues easily can be forgotten. But the problem is, once injustice is established, that is a fire that could spread the neighboring countries. So we need to understand that the brutality is going on and the military rule is going on in Burma. It will not stop within the Burmese border. It will spill out very soon.
Record-breaking floods in central China have left at least 33 people dead, with dozens more missing. Tens of thousands have been evacuated as authorities are ramping up rescue and recovery efforts following the devastating floods that submerged cities and farms in the Henan province. Home to 99 million residents, Henan is one of China's most populous and poorest provinces, with large swaths of farmlands and factories. Provincial capital, Zhengzhou, home to 12 million people, is one of the worst hit areas. 12 were killed yesterday after being trapped for hours on a flooded subway line. Rainfall in the province intensified since Tuesday, with Zhengzhou receiving a year's worth of rain in just 3 days. The Provincial Weather Bureau today said the storm is spreading north, raising the storm alert for 4 cities in the north of Henan to red, the highest warning system. The World Health Organization urged Indonesia to implement a stricter and wider lockdown to combat surging COVID-19 infections, just days after President Joko Widodo raises the possibility of easing restrictions. Indonesia has become one of the epicenters of the pandemic, with positive cases leaping fivefold in the past 5 weeks. This week, daily deaths hit record highs over 1,300, among the highest tolls in the world. In its latest situation report, the WHO called for urgent action to address sharp rises in infections in 13 of Indonesia's 34 provinces. Its daily positivity rate has averaged 30% over the past week, even as cases numbers have fallen. According to the WHO, a level above 20% meant very high transmissibility. On Tuesday, Jokowi flagged an easing of restrictions from next week, citing official data showing a fall in infections in recent days, which epidemiologists say has been driven by a drop in testing from already low levels. Just 1 day to go till Tokyo Summer Olympics begins under heavy restrictions. The opening ceremony, which normally stands as an important showcase of the host nation, is said to be a subdued affair. Japanese media reported that less than 950 people are set to attend the event at the main stadium. All spectators are barred from most events, and Tokyo is under a state of emergency. The build-up continues to be overshadowed by news of emerging COVID-19 cases. Already, 87 Olympic-related personnel, including athletes, have tested positive. Meanwhile, Tokyo reported 1,979 new COVID infections today, the highest since January. Officially, the Games start tomorrow, but some competitions already started on Wednesday, including softball and soccer. The Tokyo Olympics run through August 8 and the Paralympics are scheduled from August 24th to September 5th. Meanwhile, the Tokyo Olympic Organizing Committee fired the director of the opening ceremony because of a Holocaust joke he made during a comedy show in 1998. Organizing Committee President Seiko Hashimoto said opening ceremony director Kentaro Kobayashi has been dismissed. He was accused of using a joke about the Holocaust in his comedy act, including the phrase, "Let's play Holocaust," in one of his shows. That is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Get the latest news update on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and Astro AWANI app. I'm Farhana Sheikh. We'll see you again.